If they got, customers talk about they have great service or bad service if they got what they want or didn't get what they want, right? But that's not true. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm on a business trip and my work is done early and I want to go home to my family. I check the website, I see that there's flights available on the earlier flights, let's call it a day early. And so I call the airline and I say, hey, I'm done early, I'd really love to get home to my family, I see that you've got availability in the earlier flight, can I get on that flight? And the agent says, I'm sorry, you have the wrong class of ticket, I can't change your flight. I'm happy to pay a fee, I'm happy to pay whatever it is, please can I get on that flight? I'm sorry, sir, I told you you have the wrong class of, you have the wrong class, I can't book you, you have the wrong status flight. There's nothing I can do, the computer won't let me do it, okay? I now hate that airline, right? Okay, let's replay that, okay? Same scenario, hi, I'm done early, love to go home, I see you have availability, can I get on that flight? Sir, I want to get you home to your family. Here's the problem. Your ticket is the wrong class, and so the computer won't let me, but let me see what I can do. I really want to get you home to your family. Click, 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 click. That didn't work. Click, 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 click. That didn't work. Sir, let me talk to my supervisor. I'm determined to get you home to your family. Go away, come back. Sir, I talked to my supervisor. We've tried like 6 different things. There's nothing I can do. I am so sorry. I just cannot get you on that earlier flight. Don't worry. Thank you for trying. I now love that airline even though I didn't get what I want.
Good stuff. It's not about the result, like how you were saying, it's the intention behind it. With customer service, you're not going to be able to deliver exactly what people want. You just can't. But if you have the intention to at least try and do what you can in order to create that mutual relationship to where everyone wins, then that customer is going to feel that and understand. It reminds me of the how we have accessibility to other avenues of product for us. So we also have a sugar-free option for Snowy Atlanta, and that expands our horizon because you have people with diabetes or people that don't want to eat sugar, that want to monitor their sugar intake. So we have a sugar-free option. And also what we have in all of our units and that is accessible to every team member's phone are the ingredients for all of our flavors. So now if a customer comes up and it's like, "Hey, my my son can't have red 40 dye. Do these flavors have red 40 dye?" Hold on, let me check. And then they look through and they're like, okay, what Tiger's Blood and Wild Cherry, because they're red colors, they have red 40 dye, but the blue raspberry only has blue 5. And it's like, okay, wow, like they actually went above and beyond to try to figure it out so they can, and let's say the red 40 is the only flavor that kid wanted was Tiger's Blood and it has red 40 in it. I'm so sorry, it does have red 40. Yeah, I wish there was something else we can do, but no, that it does have red 40. Okay, thank you so much. They still walk away even though they didn't get the product with a good taste in their mouth because they know that service was above board and our team member at least tried to make them feel better and make the right accommodations so they can get a snow cone or they can feel good. So I like that. I like how he says that.
And that's what it feels like when someone cares. It doesn't mean we always get what we want, but what we get is somebody who understands and cares about what we're trying to accomplish. That's considered good service.
That's good. That's very good.
By far the best move I made managing my team,
Next
got
video,
Connect
next
Team, and
video,
don't do
next
schedules and spreadsheets anymore.
video,
And it
next
works? Oh,
video.
Human beings are pretty simple animals. We want to feel like we belong. We want to feel a part of something bigger than ourselves. And we want to feel that the people that we work for care about us, just like we want in our relationships. We want to feel seen, heard, and understood. So let me give you an example of a customer service interaction of somebody who demonstrates care versus somebody who doesn't. Let's use an airline just for example, because this is fairly common. Let's say you go on a business trip. Your business trip gets done early.
We just got kind of that same vibe. Let's see.
How we feeling? You excited?
Yeah, good. I was doing jumping jacks in the back.
Were you? Is that what you do before you go? Oh. Okay, so I don't know if everybody knows this, but you don't preview any of the... But I do, if it's okay, I want to...
It turns out it's the very same skills that were always important. And what is that? It is some version of judgment, product sense, and strategic sense. And related to that, the discernment of what is actually good and why it is good and being able to explain that, which is essentially what taste is. People these days...
I like that, the discernment. With AI, with these new technology aspects, there's so many versions, there are so many tools that you can use. But if you don't have the discernment and you don't have the knowledge to understand what AI can actually do for you, you're going to get lost and you're going to get down so many rabbit holes to where you don't really understand what AI is actually doing for you. And you can be using multiple tools that and spending multiple subscriptions monthly instead of finding that one tool that can really automate everything and systemize everything. But it takes a level of knowledge and wisdom and discernment to know the difference and not just spend money here because it does that, spend money there. If you truly understand the ins and outs, then you will have the level of understanding how to use AI in the best form for your business or for your life.
Talk a lot about taste and taste as being a defense for you in this AI world. And I generally agree. But one thing that is missed still and underappreciated is that actually a large part of taste is being able to understand why something is good or not good and being able to communicate that to others. Because we've all worked with a product leader or executive who's extremely talented, has great taste. If we give a presentation to them proposing some flow or something, they don't like it and they share that, but there is no explanation for why, or they struggle to explain why. Now we're just left confused, right? And we're not left in any better state other than we know this is not good or this will not get approval from them. So like taste, and if you listen closely, Steve Jobs...
And kind of what I was just saying with the knowledge and getting the education of AI or certain systems, if you don't get the education, you just spend your money on these apps or you allow other people to do it for you all the time, then you're not going to have a scope of what the true value of these things are. But if you have the education to understand what certain things are, then it's important. And any new system that we implement, I make sure to test it. I love how if they have a free trial version because I'm gonna test every single aspect of it, and I'm gonna act like we've had it for a long time and implement all of our systems and implement whatever is needed to integrate our product and our service and our business with the tool with the app. So then I'm now able to have the proper discernment when we are having these sales meetings and demo meetings with these apps with these companies, and normally they're like, whoa, like you we don't even have to do anything really. Just we really just need to get to the pricing aspect because you've done everything. And now instead of us spending that time, you teaching me the system, you teaching me all these things, I now have I now am asking you questions. Okay, I hit this roadblock, I hit that roadblock. And then now we're able to solve problems quicker. So then I really have the discernment of, okay, can we really use this product or is it is it just a waste of money? Or I don't have enough information or I haven't educated myself enough. So this sales guy can just talk over my head and it sounds good, but it might not be applicable to our business and what we are trying to accomplish with using this app.
has talked about this in the past, that actually this communication piece is an important aspect of taste that people are not covering. So anyway, the general area of product judgment, product strategy, expertise, product sense, taste, they've always been important, right? They've always been important. And if you look at product leaders who've had consistent success, So not kind of, well, right place, right time, but consistently successful throughout their career, they had this skill set or they developed this skill set over time. And that was partly responsible for that consistent success. I don't think it is fundamentally an entirely different thing that is going to be like that differentiator. It's just that now these things are even more important in a world where there is a much higher capacity, 10x, 100x, 1000x, maybe even greater than that capacity. It all goes back to the correctness of the decisions you're making.
That's good. And automation is only truly it's only good if you understand the system behind it and you understand how these apps are communicating with each other or the automation is communicating with you and your team. If you're not able to efficiently understand how automation is going to help you out, then you're going to hit roadblocks, you're going to be confused, and you're going to be wasting money. And nobody wants to waste money, especially a small business where we have to take very serious of what our expenses are and what we can do and what makes sense and have opportunity costs and just have that whole pros and cons aspect to figure out, okay, do we really need this or is this just blowing smoke and it just sounds good because we're in a new age? And that's not going to help you expand and transcend and scale how you are looking to scale if you don't have the knowledge and understanding of what these tools can really do for you. It's good. Right, let's go to another one. Oh, hold on, I'll be right back. Apologies. I'm heading to New Orleans, so I needed to get my clothes in the dryer, so I'll be ready to go. Good to go? Good? Good? Okay. All right, next video.
Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College Systems Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Manager, and on Zoom today, extremely special guest. I'm super excited. Is John Joseph IV from the E Center in Decatur, Alabama. Technically, the Decatur Morgan County E Center. So we've known each other kind of a short time, John. But I felt like the first time I met you, I was like, this is a guy I need to know better and need to learn from. And you're a very humble cat over there. But man, I've just enjoyed every single conversation we've had about whatever the topic. So welcome to the show. And before we get going down the road, man, just why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and
have 7 each people, but y'all about bridge doesn't what y'all are doing at the Innovation Center, and well, you can
I don't know, you must have a jet or something. Like you get around a lot of places, but it's always with you. It's always that message is okay. Well, what are we building here? And so to hear you say today, like we're building bridges, like you're always about what are we building in this area. But that humility you have of how you're going to do that. So for a lot of folks out there, entrepreneurship, they may understand what that means because they watch Shark Tank, but they don't know how to become an entrepreneur. And that's what you show people. So for the listening audience out there, what is the E-Center just on a grassroots level? And how did you get into it?
Yeah, thank you. So a business incubator is a place to provide support, resources, and guidance for current entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs. At its heart, that's what an incubator is. So if you're a person who has an idea, or you're a person who has started, a 2-person company, you've made a few sales, where do I go from here? Chocolate bar, you sell soft, and fortunate to be involved in some entrepreneurial things on the side that are unrelated, in board roles and things of that nature.
Yeah, so I started at Calhoun in 2018. So, and we toured for some reason we toured the E Center. Maybe it was part of Decatur Morgan County Excellence in Leadership. Mm-hmm. We toured over there, and y'all had just gotten going, and I was intrigued by the concept. I never heard of a business incubator. So, flash forward now, it's like now it makes perfect sense because I see folks coming out of our courses. And getting ready to do something, a lot of them just go to work, but a lot of them, you just see that twinkle in their eye. They're up to some, entrepreneurial mischief,
yes,
I think. And so they've got an idea. So Matt and I are just going to go question after question and we'll rotate. But the next one is, as these folks are coming in, they got a good idea and maybe they've gone through your 4 or 5 questions about what it is, who it is, why it is. But sometimes you got to tell them some hard things, much like our kids when they're, you got to tell them some hard truths. How do you do that with a balance to motivate?
You, just you, building your app on Base 44.
So I want to make a prediction. The chances of this video going viral is this big. Here's why. Because no one cares to talk about customer complaints, but I promise you, I want to challenge you to listen to this whole thing because it'll save you a lot of sleepless nights. It'll make you a lot of money. It'll save you a lot of money. And it'll just create a good culture for your company. So let's get right into it. Complaints is a part of business. When you decide to become a business owner, you are putting yourself out there for customers to say you are not as good as XYZ, and it is our job to hear them out and get better because this is free counsel that people are giving you. Just think about it.
That's such a great mindset, because everybody is not going to react exactly how you have projected to them in a positive way. They're not going to react the exact same way. Some people are, unfortunately, they look into the mirror and don't like what they see. And you don't have to take ownership of that. People say kill them with kindness, and that's so true. But it's also, it's got to be a mutual respect to understand what's going on with them, maybe from a subconscious level, because you can, knowing how you are and how you feel about yourself, you're able to kind of not relate, but you can see, you can have that awareness of the fact that this person is not happy with whatever is going on with their life. And to meet them at that point to where you can try to build them up is a great way. It's a perfect way for you to help the next man and make them understand, okay, even though I just reacted in such a negative or nasty way to this person, they didn't even react, and they did not absorb the negative energy in a bad way to where they then snapped on me. Because in a sense, people like that, they win either way if you really think about it, because of how the ego has now possessed their situations and their life situation. So if our team member, for example, swoops down to their level and reacts and gets mad just like how they're getting mad, they won, because now they can go on Google review and say this person was so nasty to me, or talk to their friends, talk to other people, this person was so mean to me, this, that, and the third. Or if you don't do anything about it and you do kill them with kindness, you act like a good person, they'll walk away and they'll find something to be mad about and say, well, yeah, this person's so fake. Like, I clearly was asking this from them and they acted like they didn't even acknowledge what was going on. You can't win in certain aspects like that, but if you put your best foot forward and you don't allow for energies to affect you and truly throw you off, if your internal is so at peace and so in serenity, and your standard of yourself is so high, then the external is you're now with your internal, you're building a shield around yourself, whether you know it or not, subconsciously. And externally, when things come your way, when these challenges come your way, or these quick impulsive actions come your way, you're able to fight it with that shield and still retain your peace, your internal serenity. And that is where I strive to be. I feel like I am there. I've always been a very positive person and a person that doesn't really overreact to things. Things might happen. I'm not a perfect human, but starting to understand and relate to the aspect that some people are just maybe unhappy with themselves and what's going on with their lives, it allows me to now have sympathy for them and be like, okay, I don't know this person's walk of life, so let me try to make them have a better day, even though they were very nasty to me. I think that is the key to having that high level customer service, even when that person is not the nicest person to you.
Companies that do focus groups that pay $75 per participant to just show up and complain about your product, and you're getting all of these things for free. That's one of the things I want you to be keeping in mind. Now let's talk about how I look at complaints. There's 5 different types of complainers when it comes down to your business, and no matter what you do. There's 5 different types of people that complain about what you do. The number one type of complainer is the valid complaint. This is the person that's right. You did something wrong. Your company didn't do the right thing. The procedures, the offers, anything that happened, they're absolutely right with what took place. And I'm going to explain to you how to handle that. But the first one is the valid complainers. Whatever complaint that was made, you got to figure out a way to improve that. Number 2 is the pessimist. This
I like that, the valid complainers. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, we can get so caught up in first person mode where we're doing all these things and we're trying to make all these things work. We're trying to satisfy everyone. We're trying to make sure the ecosystem is in communication and in full function, that we start to take ownership and possession over all of the communication aspects or all of the things that are happening, which in a sense we kind of have to because this is our business, but it gets to a point where you start to not really understand where that person is coming from when they do combat you because you're so close to it. And I've done this so many times. I've worked so hard to develop this system, this app, or whatever the case is, this spreadsheet, any of these new systems I'm trying to implement, and then I try to share it or do something about it with the client or with my dad, and I get a level of combativeness, if that's a word, and I'm like, no, like you don't understand because you didn't put the time I put in, or you didn't see the ins and outs like I did in order for me to even get to this point. And now I have to let go of that, especially if I'm talking to people that have the right intentions and the intentions of just making sure that it works like a machine, it works smooth. So now I'm like, you know what? I received that. So wait, how can we integrate both? Because you know where I'm coming from. That's why I presented this to you with all this information, with all this data, with the product that I'm presenting to you. And now you are combating because you have a perception of what you feel like should be the case. So let's integrate that and figure out how we both can be happy. So I like that valid customer complaint. It's some people do have a very valid reason to why they feel a certain way. And to negate that or make them feel like, oh, they're just a negative person, so I won't take them serious. You're not able to learn. So you have to have that open mind so you can learn.
This is the person that no matter where you go with them, nothing can ever make them happy. Nothing can make them happy. So you can do anything and everything for them. They will never, nothing. This is the person that complaint that was made. You got to figure out a way to improve that. Number two is the pessimist. This is the person that no matter where you go with them, nothing can ever make them happy. Nothing can make them happy. So you can do anything and everything for them. They will never be happy with what you do for them. This is a customer that you have as well. The third type of customer is the one they like your product, they disagree with your beliefs. For instance, hypothetically, imagine the CEO of Starbucks gets up and he says, I believe that healthcare should be free for everybody. And there's someone that goes to Starbucks and loves the coffee, but they absolutely disagree politically with what Howard Schultz believes when it comes down to national healthcare. For example, imagine if you are the CEO of Walmart and you believe in capitalism and they always go to Walmart and shop, but they hate what the company stands for and they support certain people politically or a team or whatever it is, so they have a vendetta towards you. I'll give you a story one time with a rant complainer that happened with me. This was 6.5 years ago. We had just started our firm. And I will never forget what happened with this story here because I remember I got this, all of a sudden this person started posting all over our Facebook, Twitter, every single website that we had, they were just complaining. This company sucks, the CEO's horrible, all this stuff. So finally, I called Mario. I said, Mario, I need that guy's number. I'm going to call him. So I get his number. I call him up at night. I'll never forget. It's 10 o'clock at night. It's 8 o'clock his time. 10 o'clock at night, it's 8 o'clock his time, I'm on the phone with him. I said, hey, this is Patrick Bet-David giving you a call, the CEO of PHP. I just wanted to call you. It seems you're extremely upset. I wanted to call you instead of having somebody else call you. Can you tell me what you're not happy about? And we went on a 45-minute conversation. Do you want to know what this conversation was over? Let me tell you what this conversation was over. This conversation was over the fact that he belonged to the biggest communistic organization in America, and he's a proud believer and follower of Karl Marx, a book called Communist Manifesto, and he found out that I believe in capitalism, and I follow the teaching of Milton Friedman, and he hates capitalism. He hates capitalism. So I'll never forget the conversation that we had together, and this became a friendly conversation. So I said, why do you hate capitalism? And he said, I hate capitalism because all they care about is they put the people to work. And I said, okay, let's take capitalism out. Where do you work at right now? He said, I know where you're going with this. So where do you work at? He said, I work at P.F. Chang's. I said, what happens if P.F. Chang's goes out of business? He said, I'll go work for another company. I don't care about P.F. Chang's. I said, you're going to go work for another capitalist. I said, what if that capitalist goes out of business? I'm going to go get another job because I will always be needed. I said, without the capitalist, you don't have a job. So we had this friendly debate. Fast forward 6 years ago, literally 9 months ago, this guy sends me a message saying, you won't remember me. Of course I remember him. I have a pretty decent memory. You won't remember me, but we debated 6 years ago when I was a communist, and I just want you to know I follow every single valuetainment video, and I believe in capitalism. Things have changed. I'm 29 years old. Back then I was 23 years old. I was not, okay, no problem. But I had to figure out that that person had no problem with our product. They had a problem with the belief system. And although I can't change that, I heard him out, it fixed it, we moved on from there. The fourth type of...
I love that. I love how he picked up that phone and called him. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to get to the root of the problem as the leader and not avoid the problem, or you're so busy and this person is not proceeding the cause, is not making sure that the machine keeps running smoothly, is not progressing us as a business. So, you know what, let me put him to the side. I don't really have to worry about him. But no, to have that conversation with him, to be like, okay, where why are you feeling like this? What is wrong with the way that we do things? And by understanding where he's coming from, then you can now meet him where he's at with your belief system, with their belief system, and then you can now come to a common ground. Even if y'all don't agree with everything, you can at least come to a common ground, and that person has to have a mutual respect for you because you went out of your way, you took the time out of your day to have a conversation with them so y'all can get to the bottom of it and not have this animosity and tension that will last all the time, will be a grudge until that conversation was to happen. So that is leadership right there. I like that.
Complainers that you have that's become a very big business is an actual enemy. So what I mean by an enemy or a competitor, this has become a very, very big business. Let me explain. So here's a big gorilla, big guy, big company that's been doing a business, and you're planning on coming and taking a percentage of their business away from them, right? You're an enemy. You're a threat. They don't like you. You need to go out of business ASAP. And so we start a company and we're trying to take distribution away from some folks. When I mean distribution is the amount of life insurance that's being written. So we want to start writing this business. That didn't make a lot of people happy. That ticked off a lot of people. So all of a sudden we got a flood got flooded with negative complaints online. And you could tell there was a lot of things that was being said that's inaccurate with details where somebody else was doing it. And eventually we went and investigated it. And we realized what's going on with that, and there's nothing we could do about it. Here's why there's nothing we can do about it. Because companies like Yelp, as much as I use Yelp as a customer to go figure out what restaurants are out there and what restaurant to choose around the world.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Shout out Wix.
I don't like what Yelp does to small business owners. I'll tell you exactly what Yelp does to small business owners. Yelp will come up to you and they'll say, if you advertise $6,000 a month, $5,000 a month, we will give you a shot at, putting out more of your positive reviews and all this other stuff. When they went public, they changed their script. I'll never forget it because I spoke to one of their reps. He says, Patrick, yes, we used to do that, but we don't do that anymore because now we're public and we have, so many different people that have said that we did that and now we have to answer to that. And so, Papa, all this stuff that he starts telling me, and I said, so the reality part of it is after some employees left Yelp, they started telling us that this is what they're doing, and that's a business nowadays. They take small businesses that are frightened to go out of business, and through fear, because of a small restaurant being a 3-star, people will not go to it. Their business drops by 20%. They ask you for $6,000 a month. So it's a legal online mafia type of thing, if you want to call it, like back in the days, how people would come and say, hey, you got to pay me more taxes if you want to do business. It's something like that going on. You got to figure out a way to work around that. The reason for you got to figure out a way to work around that is because eventually when you earn saint status, none of that stuff matters. And saint status takes about...
That's what I was about to get to. You're unfortunately gonna have one-offs. It's gonna be something that happens maybe on your side, or an irate person, something happens on their side where they go and make that negative review, that 1 star, and all you have to do is have multiple sources of people that give you that high level service or that high level rating that tells you, hey, No, this company means business. This company is amazing. They did everything they were supposed to do. And that takes a minute to build that rapport. So people can spread that word of mouth and have that. So the level of consistency that you need to have in delivering high level service, in being on time, making sure your communication is on point, that the customer understands exactly what they're getting, and then you deliver it at a high second mile rate, and then that person will now leave a review, have a good taste in their mouth, want to talk to other people, make sure that you get on their books, and then it keeps going. That cycle continues. But spending too much energy on that one star, it can throw you off, and it can shift the focus of you looking at the 5 stars and the people that have had a great experience with you. And you just have to stay in that energy, especially if you know you have good intentions behind why you're doing business. If you have great intentions, then you're gonna want to deliver that high level service, and then that is going to create a snowball effect of people that do want your business, do want your service, do want your product. And then you can just stay in that energy and keep moving from there. And that will make you a stronger force. And that takes time to build to where you do get so many reviews that that one off doesn't affect it, but understanding that you shouldn't spend all that energy trying to not create a 1 star. No, you need to spend the majority of your energy, if not all of your energy, making sure that person truly feels like this was a 5 star experience.
About a decade, 5 years to 10 years, depending on the business that you have to earn. And once you earn saint status, this means when your positive experiences are just crushing the negative comments, that no one even pays attention to the negative comments anymore. You don't even think about Apple's negative comments. You know how many negative comments Apple's get? People still go to Apple. You don't even care about Walmart's negative complaints anymore. You know how many people work at Walmart? 2.3 million people, 1.4 million in America.
What?
I just got the update because last week I said 1.5 million, 2.2. It's 1.4 million in America, 2.3 million around the world. 900,000 people around the world work for Walmart, and they keep going there, even though they got more complaints than almost any other company in the world. They also happen to be the biggest company in the world. Top 3 biggest companies in the world, depending on the time. Then the 5th one is a fun one, is the trolls. Nowadays there's trolls. Trolls has become a new thing because this is a way for someone to get fame. This is a way for someone to say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go mess with this company because I may get publicity and I may get picked up, so it's become a business. There's actually, you can go to sites that tell you how to be a professional troller. It's hilarious. We get some trolls.
That's just sad. I mean, imagine spending the time out of your day to try to ruin someone else's life or business. You have to have another way to spend your and delegate your time. And you have to know from a business point of view where some people's intentions are when they're commenting or when they're writing these reviews or when they come to your company saying, oh yeah, y'all should do this, y'all should do that. Having that standard of yourself, of why you do certain things you do, the confidence that you have in your business, in your service, in your product, then you do truly have that discernment to not just get swayed by any little thought or any idea or any negative action. You're able to truly have a vision of your goal to wanting to stay in a certain environment. I have an example. If there's a event organizer that is just not the most friendly person, but you really love the venue that that person represents, in theory, that person will not be there for a very long time, and they're for sure not going to be there forever. So if your vision is to be there for the next 10, 20, 30 years, then this is just going to have to be that growing pain that you have to get through, because they essentially, these event organizers are the middleman from your product to the actual service that you're going to be delivering, and the market and the company that you're dealing with. So getting through and making sure that that person feels a true partnership, even though you don't feel like this is a true partnership because they might be doing slick things or things that you're not comfortable or in agreeing with, you're able to get through that, and that person will may not be there for too much longer, especially if they're an irate person or their systems aren't in place, their communication isn't always in place. Someone is going to catch that at a higher field, at a higher level that oversees that person, and that person might not be there for long. But since you have that foot in the door, since you have been doing business, since the actual company enjoys your service, enjoys your product, when that person is gone and they now have a lovely, great person that you love to deal with, love to communicate with, well, now the opportunities even going to be larger. They might think, oh wait, we have this other business opportunity you can be a part of, or we have that, and now you can create that true partnership. But sometimes you do have to just get through it and to be like, well, I'm not dealing with this person, so I'm not doing this. That's a very short term thought. Because if you truly want to be somewhere for a while and make a stamp into a company or truly sustain a partnership with these companies, sometimes you have to deal with these irate people. And by dealing with it with a high level of integrity and keeping in the back of your brain the true goal of being here for a while, then it becomes a minute thing. And you can kind of laugh at it sometimes, like, wow, like I know where I want to be. We're still going to deliver exactly what we need to do, be on time, just do all the things that it requires for your business to succeed. And the chips will fall where they may. But having that integrity and having that confidence in yourself and having that consistency and efficiency, you're only going to transcend that relationship. And it's not just the person, it's the reason, it's the why on why you even wanted to be there in the first place. And keeping that in the back of your brain, you're only going to succeed.
Sometimes on valuetainment, sometimes I had this one guy that trolled me one time. I won't tell you what I told him, but he trolled me. Paul is already laughing back there because so this guy comes and he starts trolling valuetainment, and then I go to his Facebook page, and on his Facebook page, the most recent post he posts, he says, "I'm in the mood to go troll some bigger brands." This is on his Facebook page. So I take a screenshot. And I say, let's have some fun, because if you want to have fun, I don't mind it, crap talking game. So I went at him pretty hard. He deleted his comment, came back. We had a fun time with it, but trolls, I appreciate trolls because at least they're trying to become celebrities. So don't take trolls too seriously. They're actually fun to be dealing with. So you got those types of 5 complaints. So now let's talk about
I think the most common customers that we have, I forgot exactly what he called it, but the customers that it doesn't matter what the case is, they're going to be mad. And this is why I say this, because we deliver high level service through shaved ice. So that means that you are walking into a true positive environment, like genuinely positive. I mean, you have a flying man, you have a great aesthetic of a snow cone truck, you have a great face that you're looking at with a smile on their face, asking you what would you like, trying to invite you in, create a conversation, see that you're wearing a UGA hat. Hey, are the dogs going to win this year? Having that real conversation. If you truly are going to react in a negative way or act in a negative way, there is genuinely something that you're looking at and you don't enjoy about yourself internally, whether you've been so programmed and possessed by your ego or not. It's something going on, something brewing inside of you that needs some intervention. And that's why I believe that that is our biggest complaint demographic. Truly, the ones that they can't win either way, which makes it even more important for us and for our team members to stay on the up and up and keep the integrity and not swoop down to their level to try to make them feel even worse so our team member can feel better. No, no, no. We don't do that. We kill you with kindness. We deliver high level service. We try to make you feel better even though you're not feeling good, and we continue on with the day. And that is how we do business.
your business and how to handle these complaints. First of all, depending on the type of a business you run, your volume of sales that come in will dictate how many opportunities there are for people to complain with your product. Meaning, if your volume of sales is high, there's more likelihood of you having complaints. So, for example, if I take 1,000 shots in a basketball game versus another guy that comes in and only gets one shot in basketball game, who has a higher likelihood of shooting an air ball? The guy that shoots 1,000 shots or the guy that shoots one shot? 1,000 shots, I'm gonna get some air balls. And air balls could be complaints, it could be a misplay, it could be something that happened that you gotta address. So you gotta understand the business you've chosen to be a part of. If it's high volume, you're gonna get more complaints. Low volume, fewer complaints. And so that simply is on the way you do your business. So now how do you handle complaints when you get them? Very simple. Number one, the most important thing before I tell you how to respond is the following. Speed is your game, speed. Complaint happens Tuesday. If you get back to them by Friday, it's already too late. Complaint happens at Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you have a system where you get back to them within a day, that's better than Friday. But if you have a way to get back to them immediately because you get prompted with a notification that somebody's not happy, you get back to them within an hour, that means it matters to them. So speed is your number one game of handling complaints.
That's good. And it makes me soul search and business search on our point of view. We definitely have a customer service aspect after the event, and we ask how the event went. So that is definitely the way we handle the complaint. But it makes me wonder, is there something else that we can do, or is there some platform that we can have that is truly complaint based, or I guess Q&A based, to where we do get a notification from a different platform or from a different source of the same platform, so we understand that it is a problem and maybe we can solve it a little more efficiently than if it's in the same channel of, oh yeah, everything went great, it was a great event, you guys were lovely, on time, this was amazing. Is there a channel that we can use to be better? This just sparked up an idea. I'm gonna definitely do some research after this video.
Number two, when it comes down to handling complaints, is avoiding conflicts. If you avoid conflicts, I guarantee you, you will constantly be getting complaints. So let me tell you what type of brands I am extremely suspicious of. I remember one time I sat down with a guy and he said, hey, I turned off all my comments on YouTube. I said, why? He said, well, you know, YouTube has a way for you to hide your number of subscribers and hide your number of comments because no one will know how many subscribers you have, so you can kind of make it up and say how many you have, and no one will see the bad things people are saying about you. I said, first of all, I want to hear the negative comments because I want to figure out a way if our sound is not good. You know how many things we've improved on our...
Exactly. Exactly. And by you just shutting off comments or shutting off your subscribers, how he's saying, how can you get that constructive criticism from someone who actually has a good heart and good intentions behind and truly wants to help your business? Not everybody is trying to attack your business if they have some type of criticism. Some people just genuinely want to help you, and you're going to block that because you feel so high and mighty of what you're doing with yourself or with your business, with your life, that you feel like nobody can come in and help you. I can't agree with that. But it comes from an ego, it comes from an ego place. Because if you truly are like, you know what, I just want this business to work. I don't care if it's me that created the idea. I don't care if it's a random person that created the idea that sparked it to where we now implement it. I don't care who is giving me this idea and who is allowing me to grow, but it is only going to make me better in whatever regards, even if it is from a bad intentional place. You can, if you, let's say you have the awareness that that person may have bad intentions, there might be that one thing that you can look in the mirror and be like, wait, hold on, there might be some truth to that. We might can add that into the system, even though that person is like, you know what, I just want to tear this person down. I don't really care about their business being good. You can learn that little thing to make you better, to completely shut off comments and criticism and how people react to your content. I don't agree with that, and I don't believe that's gonna allow you to grow, because who other than your team And let's say you are the CEO, nobody is ahead of you. You are above all hierarchies. Who can tell you anything?
Brand because of how many valuetainers have told us the sound only comes from one ear. You know, Paul, how many times have you gotten a message where it says too many times, right? So Paul over here, he's got to figure that part out. Or hey, you guys spelled entrepreneur wrong. We chose this word called entrepreneur, and every time preneur, Paul, preneur, right? So hey, you misspelled entrepreneur. Great, we want to hear this stuff. But
Yes.
brands that are too concerned about hiding all the negative comments, I'm very suspicious of. What do
And I exactly, and I like how he's saying he's suspicious of them hiding the comments. See, I'm thinking of it as you're not gonna grow, but I didn't think of it as, yeah, like what's on the screen. What are you hiding? What is missing? Because why are you not allowing that transparency for people to comment and for people to have a genuine reaction to like and dislike or subscribe, not subscribe? Why are you, or for someone to come in and say, okay, they have this many amount of subscribers, maybe using that as a tool to do they want to support this business or do they? You never know where people's intentions come from, but for you to hide all of that, what are your true intentions? I mean, is it to make a difference in the world? Is it to grow and expand? Because in order to have that, you have to have a community. And if that community has been silenced and, yeah, sensitized, you're not gonna, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't align with what I feel like we do. And I'm not saying, and I leave all judgment to the Most High if you're a believer, or I just don't have any judgment. You live your life how you see fit. But I don't agree with that. That's something that we want to have that hard conversation. Talk to me and let me know how I can be better and what I'm doing wrong. And of course, there has to be respect behind that. You can't just call me names, call me out of my name, and I'm like, oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, no, no, no. It has to be respect behind it. But even if your intentions aren't all the way pure, I will find something to make myself better because the when I walk away from a conversation, I want to feel better, and I want to feel like there's a task at hand for me to get better. If I am closing that part of my brain to where I feel like I know everything, or get so emotional in the fact that this person is negative or does have bad intentions, I'm reading that through his body language or through his attitude that he doesn't have the right intentions. I'm like, you know what? I'm not listening to a word he says. No, because then now you're missing out on the growth, and I don't want to miss out on the growth. I, 'cause you never know where signs come from and how you can be awakened and open up. So I'm going to learn from anyone. There's not a single person that can't teach me something because everybody comes from a different walk of life. So, and even in then you can even have more of a scope of, okay, this person might have bad intentions because this person is not in the situation they want to be in. They look at me that is in a desirable situation. So in order for them to feel better about themselves, they want to bring me down. But if I have that awareness and they're nitpicking everything that I'm doing, I can grow. I can still grow even if they have bad intentions. So it's not even the intentional aspect from that external source. It is how you perceive it. Because the same thing can happen to two different people, and there can be a completely different perception and different path to where these people walk based off of their perceptions. So it's not the absolute truth of what this person is saying, but if you are to read it and interpret it in a positive way for it to affect you in a positive way and make you a better person, then you're not giving that external entity any power. You still retain your power, your control, your peace over your esteem, over your emotions, over your feelings, over your thoughts, and that is a powerful place to be in.
you hiding? Who cares about negative comments? No one's perfect. See, we don't have a standard of perfection. I want to hear about it because I want to see what my audience is going to say about it so we can be held accountable and we can improve. So don't avoid.
That's good. Accountability throughout the entire staff is important. And to not build to I've done this so many times where instead of holding certain people accountable, I'll just go behind them and do it. And it comes from a place of low standards. I'm gonna be honest, because I had that low standard of feeling like I might need that staff member or I don't want to hurt that staff member's feelings because then they might quit. I am now enabling bad behavior or bad practices instead of increasing my standard about myself, my business, the structure of it, and being more assertive and not in a negative way, not making this person feel less than, but in a way to let them know and teach them what the standard truly is and how you must abide by the standard. It's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. And I would do that. I would be like, you know what? Let me just clean the floor. Let me just do that. I won't call them out because they might take it the wrong way, and we can use them for this next event this weekend. They're already scheduled for this event this weekend, so we don't need them to call out last minute because they now have a bad taste in their mouth about what just happened with the situation. And that is giving too much power to the situation and not fulfilling the high standard that I should have for myself. So now I don't do that. And what helps with that is by having a clear cut procedure and operational plan of what should happen. So on all of our handbooks, we have a numbered list of inventory with the checkbox. We have a numbered list of check-in and check-out procedures with the checkbox. So now let's say the floors aren't clean or something is going on with the procedures. I can now revert right back to that exact number and say, hey, great event. You did exactly what you needed to do. Please make sure to complete number 4 on the procedures, on the checkout procedures for next time. It opens that door of, hey, you're not fired, of course, and you did a great job. You did what you needed to do in order to succeed the mission of running the event. There's just a couple of things that you could have did better and more efficiently, so the next man is more satisfied, or I don't have to come in, or the people that normally do the warehouse stuff in the back end does not have to come in to clean up after people. So we're now creating that level of trust and community within each other because we're holding each other accountable. And accountability is something that it took it because I'm an introvert at heart. So it's hard for me to have that hard conversation with people sometimes, but because I'm increasing my standard of myself and of business and how things should be, then the conversations are becoming easier because at the end of the day, my intentions are pure. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm just telling them and reiterating to them what the standard is.
Avoid conflicts. Number 3, you can't win them all. That's for sure. You cannot win them all. And then 4, I like the phones. A lot of times people like to handle complaints with, what do you call it? Just an email or respond. And that's great. That's the way you can be doing it. But I love phones. I can't tell you how many issues I've resolved in my life by simply picking up the phone and just calling and saying, what is the problem that we have going on here? Just last week, I got an email from a CEO of a $40 billion company, and it was a very strange email. So I responded back and I said, hey, this is a strange email you sent me. How about we get on the phone to clear this thing up? He says, you know what? You're right. Let's get on a call together. We got on a call together and things got cleared up because what he thought happened was somebody said to him that was absolutely inaccurate. We got clarity. He went and investigated. He says, you're right. This is exactly what happened. Great, we moved on. I like handling issues immediately with a phone call. Now, let me tell you about how to respond. When you get on a phone or you send an email or you respond, whatever it is, number 1, thank them for taking time out of their schedule to critique your product, your company, you. Thank them. The most valuable asset anybody has is time. And if they took time to write you and give you feedback, let me tell you, that is more valuable than other people that are not willing to do that because you don't matter to them that much. It matters to them. I was at P.F. Chang's the other day. I've been a customer of P.F. Chang's. I've probably been to P.F. Chang's.
Okay, great. Wait, were you even listening? You haven't taken a single note this entire meeting?
I'm actually listening better than I ever have. Let me share my screen. Do you see this? Everything we're saying is being transcribed in real time. Look.
400 times in my life. One of the reasons because when I was at Woodland Hills, P.F. Chang's was right across. And then here I got a waiter, guy named Brian in Dallas. I really like. When I say here, I'm in Vegas right now. But when I'm in Dallas, I got a waiter that I really like. I went to P.F. Chang's yesterday, and I had a bit of a meltdown. I'm there with my wife and kids. When I say meltdown, I'm annoyed. So we sit down, and when we sit down, it took 21 minutes before water touched our table. It took 48 minutes before appetizer touched our table, okay? I called the manager, and I saw the manager talking to another person, and they looked at us, and they still didn't come to talk to us. They're not that busy. This was 1 o'clock, 1:30 on Sunday. Traffic was already gone. Then our waitress here kept avoiding us, and they kept going to other people because she was handling this bill, and she kept saying, I'll come back, I'll come back. 9 minutes from the moment she said that, she didn't come back, right? Now, let me tell you this here. I am a valid complainer to P.F. Chang's because I want to come back to P.F. Chang's. And I want them to resolve this because I love service.
And that's why I like how you're saying the valid complainer. And if you shut off your comments or you don't allow that channel of reviews, then you can't listen to that valid complainer. And he just said it right there. The valid complainer, in theory, wants to come back. They just would prefer for it to go in a better way and have a better system behind the service, the product, because they do want to come back. They do want to support. They do appreciate the product. And this might just be a one-off, but that one-off can truly create a bad taste in people's mouth. I mean, some people can go to a place for 10 years and then have one bad interaction and never go back again. And by you creating that channel of communication, of reviewing and hearing people's true thoughts and complaints and criticism, then you can get to the bottom of it and learn. So I like how he says a valid complainer, because people, when they hear complainer, they're like, you know what, this is just negative. This person doesn't have our best interests at heart. No, some people do, but they did not like or appreciate the way the service was being delivered.
Makes sense. So I took the time to give feedback. Now, what the manager does with that is on them. I may not go back on Sunday because I know the manager is going to be there on Sunday. So number one is thank them. Number two is speak like a human being. Have you ever done customer service with people where they speak to you in a too scripted? Well, thank you for the complaint that you have here. And I just want you to know that it means a lot to us and all this stuff. Listen, hey, John, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about this experience. Tell me about what happened. Can you tell me a little bit more?
I like that. And trust me, I get it. Especially from these high corporations, you don't want people to quote unquote go off script and just free flow it. I don't think there should be an exact word script. I think it should be more of a directional script. So you direct people to where you want them to, you want to lead them. And I think that would make a way more genuine conversation, because then you can get to the bottom of where you can help this person or what this person's problem even is. And it takes a right structural template to have something like that. Kind of like a, if this person does this or this person says that, do this, but not in a script, not in a word by word to where I'm just reading a script, reading the words off of a paper or a screen. No, no, no. A direction. So if this person is feeling this way, make sure to guide them and help them through this type of problem and show them that we have this solution for this problem, and then that creates a more genuine conversation, and then that person feels heard, feels understood, and it's not like they're just talking to a robot to where it gets to the point where it's out of my hands. No, no, at least you can build some type of rapport with this customer, and the customer feels like, okay, this person is genuinely trying to help me. They're not just doing their job. And we're in such a transactional society right now where people are genuinely just doing their jobs. They're just getting their paycheck and they're going to work and they're done. We're missing that person that is going above and beyond their paycheck so they can deliver high level service, so that person on the other side can feel heard, seen, and appreciated.
I really want to hear you out. Yes, here, speak to them like a human being. Like, hey, this is what happened. What happened? This is what took place. Okay, number 3, apologize for the experience. Acknowledge, be honest, and acknowledge, hey, we messed up here. If we did, it sounds like we messed up. You mind if I investigate a little bit more and get back to you? Sure. Hey, it sounds like we're at fault here for what we did, and I'm not happy about that. Let me see what we can do about it. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you experienced this. Okay, so acknowledge it. Number 5, remain calm. I can tell you many experiences that I haven't remained calm. That sometimes, and by the way, almost every case that I didn't remain calm didn't work in my favor. I just want you to know this. Almost every single case that I didn't remain calm hasn't worked in my favor. And I've done that many times, and I had to learn to overcome that. Now, sometimes it may be the fact that I don't want that business anymore. And to me, it's a way to say, I don't want to do business with this person anymore. But that's still not an excuse to not handle people well, because if you treat somebody good, they tell 3 people. If you treat somebody bad, they tell 11 people. People like to spread bad experience.
Wow. That's good. If people have a good experience, they'll tell 3 people. If people have a bad experience, they'll tell 11 people. So think about that exponential scale. Think about that cycle. So if you're constantly delivering good service, yeah, it might be a slower, gradual growth, but it's way better than going on that decline at a way steeper hill with the 11 people that they tell on the bad experience. That's good. And it shows how important it is to be consistent and to have that level of service that is above and beyond, that is positive, so that word of mouth can spread in a positive way. That's so important.
This is more than they like to spread good experiences. It's just, it is what it
Oh, and also with all of that, and I don't think it should be like this, but I believe it's because of how people don't necessarily take care of themselves and really try to harbor and harness their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings. But we are in a world where negative things are more desirable to talk about. It spreads easier. It's like, hey, how's your day? Good. Okay, done with the conversation. How was your day? Oh, it wasn't that good. It was bad. Oh, well, what happened? You see? So that already creates such an exponential growth of, okay, now I want to know what happened. That's a negative experience. But we're so subconsciously kind of in autopilot when somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I had a good day. My day was good." That we don't even hear about what happened that was good about the day. But when something bad happens, and I don't think it's from a bad intentional place, but I think it could be from a good intentional place, because you want that person to get off of their chest the bad experience that might be festering in their brain and in their heart, so then they can let it go, and you can maybe give advice or just be a listening ear for that person to get through that problem. So I don't think it's a bad intentional thing, but it makes sense and it feels very factual. I don't know how factual, but based off of what he's saying, but it makes sense just off of my life experiences. Um, when if someone was to ask, or if I was to ask someone, "How are you doing?" They say good. They'll probably hit me with the "How are you?" and I'll say good. But if I'm like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Bad. Oh man, well, what happened? Is there anything I can do to help? Well, this just happened with my life, blah, this, that. So now I'm hearing the negative thing that happened. So it makes sense what he's saying for sure.
is. This is why media and CNN and Fox and MSNBC do so well, because all they do is spread bad news and we share it with everybody. And good news, there's not GNN yet. You know why there's no GNN in the world, Good News Network? Because no one cares about good news. People care about bad news, right? So there should be a power. Why don't these guys change their name from CNN to BNN, right? Like Bad News Network instead of.
And from a news standpoint, I think it's an awareness thing. So you do know what's going on in the world. If there's just a bunch of positivity that's going on in the world, I don't know. I feel like it's just what it's supposed to be. So you don't really pay too much attention to it. It's just a part of reality. But things that are truly shifting the nature of the world through whatever is happening on CNN or on in NBC, all these news places, then it has to spark a level of awareness so people do know how to navigate in the world if something negative is genuinely happening. So I understand it. Me being a humanitarian, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish the world was not bad at all, that nobody had bad intentions, but that's just not the case. But I do understand why more news is negative, because it's trying to raise awareness, and it's also programming people to want to seek stuff like that so they can have that awareness, which can be a bad thing if you spend too much of your time and energy, especially if it's out of your control, which the majority of news like that is out of your control. But it puts you in this fear mindset to where you don't want to do certain things because you feel like certain things can happen to you, instead of being in good energy and paying more attention to the good things that is happening to the world. And it just, everything is a cycle. The more you feed yourself, that's what's going to brew up in your subconscious mind, and it's what's going to make you make the decisions that you make all the time.
CNN. Okay. Remain calm. Number 6, hear them out. Don't be defensive.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside.
Hear
You
them
just
out,
need a
don't be
concept and a way to
defensive.
record it. Here's how.
Don't be defensive, and that's hard to do, especially if you have this business that is your baby. I mean, think about it. If somebody comes at their business is like a kid. If somebody comes at your actual kid, you're gonna be defensive. You're gonna be like, no, you're not gonna talk to my kid like that, or you're not gonna do this to my kid. And so I get it how people can get very defensive because you hold something so dearly to you. Your heart is so invested into this thing that you don't allow anybody to try to affect it or get into the way or infiltrate it. And it's just a level of separation you have to create so you can hear that constructive criticism. And even if let's say it's destructive criticism, you can still get something out of it. If you have the right systems in place that protects your asset and protects your business, then you shouldn't have any worries about what people have to say or what is going on, or that negative review or anything, because you have the right systems in place. You built the right foundation to not allow this to kill your business.
Don't be defensive. Hear them out, what they got to say. 6 is promised. 7 is promised to improve. So tell them, listen, hey, John, obviously I'm not happy about the fact that we made this mistake because as the leader, as the CEO, as the executive, as the VP of this department, as the whatever, this falls on me as the leader. But I'm going to make one commitment to you. We're going to get better at this. And
I love that. The commitment to improve. So even if you can't solve the problem at that moment in time, that transparency that, hey, this falls on me, this is on me that this even happened, that you are feeling the way that you're feeling, the next time this will not happen. And that person, it builds that rapport with that communication, like, okay, if he's willing to try to be better, maybe I'll stay a little longer in this company and see, does he truly mean what he says? Does he say what he means? And it's only a matter of time where, and it takes a level of consistency for you to constantly improve or constantly fail on deliveries all the time. People will raise awareness to that too. Like, no, this person is always saying that he's gonna work on this and never works on it. That is not the brand that you want to create with yourself or with your business. You want to create that brand on, hey, when they say they're going to work on something, they work on it and they try to make it better, genuinely.
And it's offer a solution. Hey, would you be open if ... Would you be open if we did this? I understand. I'm sorry, this is our mistake, but I want to do you good. Would you be open if we did ... Yes, great. I don't want to pressure, but would you be open to this? I would be. Invite them to return for...
Great video. Valuetainment. Wow, 7 million subscribers. And this video is 8 years old. Alright, so I will watch a lot more of his videos. This was amazing. Shout out to this guy. Big shout out to this guy. Well, that's it for the stream.